in the business told me do not waste $1 on that. I spent $6 million.
They was not scared of Suge Knight. They was terrified.
How do you feel about Snoop owning it now?
If you look at it, they committed fraud. They committed bankruptcy.
The latest revelations emanating from Suge Knight's prison confines have ignited widespread discussion. Seemingly wearied by his distance from the recent controversies, the former music mogul has stepped into the limelight to share his unfiltered perspective. In the latest installment of his podcast, Collect Call with Suge Knight, the incarcerated producer unleashed a bombshell accusation directed at none other than Snoop Dogg. The details divulged during this candid conversation have the potential to drastically alter Snoop's fate, with Knight suggesting that a crucial piece of evidence was overlooked by law enforcement. According to Knight, this oversight could have resulted in Snoop facing a 2-decade sentence. Additionally, Knight asserted his role in personally rescuing Snoop Dogg from the specter of a life behind bars. So what's the tea behind all this? Let's find out in today's video. But of course, before we go any further, make sure first that you subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell for more updates and videos like this.
Testified that Snoop the one shot the dude and he got some bread. He destroyed the tape. And
I took on a fight for these clowns because I didn't want them to get robbed.
In a startling revelation, Suge Knight asserted that without his intervention, Snoop Dogg would still be serving a life sentence behind bars, airing the dirty laundry surrounding his former artist's tumultuous legal troubles. Knight disclosed that he invested a staggering $6 million to navigate the complex web of issues entangled with Snoop's case. This included quashing a blackmail attempt originating from within Snoop's inner circle and orchestrating a meeting with a private investigator to rectify matters. According to Knight, his interference played a pivotal role in the disappearance of a potentially damning tape. The question that lingers is why Knight chose to break his silence on this incident 3 decades after jeopardizing his own artist's freedom. The catalyst appears to be Snoop's recent acquisition of Suge's label in 2022. Knight alleges that Snoop secured ownership through dubious dealings. In an audio release in April 2023, Knight spilled the tea on Snoop's ownership role, connecting it to an alleged criminal collaboration with Michael Hario Harris, a convicted kingpin and early financial backer of the label. Knight expressed skepticism regarding Snoop's legitimacy as the true proprietor of the label, accusing Harris of orchestrating a deception involving bankruptcy fraud and suggesting that Snoop has a covert partner in Michael Harris.
Suge Knight made money in rap. Master P put money in rap.
Break that down for me.
Big difference. When I was on Death Row Records, Suge Knight name.
Wow.
Get pulled over, police. Yeah, Mr. Knight. Who? I'm not Mr. Knight.
Wow.
In a shocking turn of events, Suge Knight now perceives Snoop Dogg as the ultimate betrayer within their circle, accusing him of extending his influence to seize control of the invaluable entity that Suge painstakingly built, the globally renowned record label. Driven by a profound sense of betrayal, Knight has resolved to cease covering for Snoop, finding ample motivation to expose the industry's dirty laundry. He contends that he played a pivotal role in securing Snoop's acquittal in the 1996 assassination case and is now gearing up to unravel the entire narrative for law enforcement with the intent of reopening the case and subjecting the rapper to renewed charges. According to Suge, Snoop's legal team harbored doubts about their ability to establish his innocence. However, Knight claims that by financially compensating a crucial witness prepared to testify against Snoop, he facilitated the rapper's not guilty verdict. In the aftermath of his legal victory, Knight now asserts that Snoop repaid his benevolence with what he deems an unsavory betrayal, especially evident in Snoop's acknowledgement of his savior through involvement in dubious activities. Suge Knight is not holding back, expressing his determination to unleash a wave of revenge upon Snoop Dogg and others whom he believes have wronged him. No longer content with a passive role behind bars, Knight boldly asserts that he possesses damning information on every high-flying rapper in the industry. His primary target is Snoop, whom he accuses of committing fraud to gain control of the label Knight built from the ground up. Knight is on a mission to dismantle their reputations one by one, signaling a seismic shift from his previous stance.
I took on a fight for these clowns because I didn't want them getting robbed.
Public reaction to Knight's vendetta is mixed, with some expressing little surprise, contending that Suge's label should have remained untouchable. Observers speculate that when Snoop assumed an executive role at Death Row, unforeseen complications inevitably arose. Opinions differ on whether Knight's actions stem from jealousy, given his contrasting approach to business, which ultimately led to his incarceration. Despite the skepticism, Suge Knight remains steadfast in his claim that his label was unjustly taken from him due to fraudulent court judgments. He passionately maintains his rightful ownership and vows to challenge the status quo, refusing to let the confines of prison prevent him from pursuing justice and seeking retribution against those he perceives as wrongdoers. In the unfolding narrative, Knight may lack concrete evidence, but he possesses a trove of compromising information about his longtime adversary, Snoop Dogg. Positioned to unveil how the rapper eluded legal consequences in his case from 3 decades ago through bribery and manipulation of authorities, Knight is prepared to expose the untold intricacies of Snoop's 1996 legal entanglement. While the details surrounding Snoop's alleged crime are seemingly well known, Knight emerges as a purveyor of additional tantalizing facts, dispelling any lingering doubts about the rapper's innocence. Knight asserts the pivotal role of money in securing Snoop Dogg's acquittal, shedding light on the behind-the-scenes machinations that ensured his courtroom departure as a free man.
I ain't gonna do nothing to you. There's niggas outside that want your head right now. I ain't gonna do nothing to you. You can go and walk up out here and we're gonna be cool from this day forward.
In the familiar narrative, Snoop Dogg faced a first-degree crime charge following an incident where his bodyguard, McKinley Lee, shot a member of a rival gang named Philip. However, Knight presents an alternate version, contesting the established facts. Exploiting his influential connections, Suge maneuvered to suppress the truth in the aftermath of the incident. The revelation also exposed the LAPD's mishandling of the case, as critical evidence such as Phillips' clothing, bullets, and shell casings was inadvertently destroyed. Despite the complexity of the case, the jury, after 6 days of deliberation, delivered a verdict of not guilty on all charges against Snoop and his bodyguard, providing a sigh of relief for the defendants. However, according to Suge's recent claims, the resolution of the incident did not mark the conclusion of the story. Suge asserts that he found himself entangled in tying up loose ends even after the dust had seemingly settled. The quest for justice took an unexpected turn when the victim's family initiated a $25 million wrongful lawsuit against Snoop. In a clandestine turn of events, the lawsuit was settled out of court in August 1996. For an undisclosed amount. Intriguingly, the identity of the settlement orchestrator has now come to light. 2 years ago, the bodyguard purportedly responsible for the shot delved into intricate details about the trial and its surrounding events. In an exclusive interview with Cam Capone News, he openly discussed the charges and the apparent success of evading legal repercussions alongside Snoop. And I don't think people really knew that. No one really knows that. I was told during this conversation, he confessed, that it was all the act of self-defense, and he actually wanted to lightly harm the guy. When I saw him start to reach, that's when I fired. There was like a little incline. My hope was I wanted to hit him in the lower part of his body, so as I'm aiming, however, the bullet was fatal for Philip, and there was nothing that could be done to save him, Snoop said. Despite the circumstances, Lee and Snoop opted to surrender themselves. However, under purported instructions from Suge Knight, deferred his surrender until after the conclusion of the 1993 MTV Music Awards. Following the event, they engaged their legal representatives and surrendered. Many plans that had been agreed upon and intended for joint execution were put on hold until 1995, when they eventually confronted the charges. According to Knight's current account, meticulous preparations were undertaken to steer the case favorably for both defendants. Despite the arduous and costly efforts invested in covering up the crime, Suge held on to the hope that his enduring partnership with Snoop would yield returns, anticipating the swift recovery of the invested funds.
Been what we supposed to have. On No Limit Records, Master P taught ownership. These cars are in your name. This house is in your name.
Regrettably, the narrative took an unexpected turn, and the rapper severed ties with the label. In a candid admission during a later interview, he expressed an inability to face those who had assisted him in concealing the evidence of his transgressions. The fallout from these revelations altered the trajectory of their association, leading to Snoop's departure from the label. As the rapper stated, "See, that's what you got to understand. These guys broke my spirit. They broke me, man. They broke my spirit." So it may just now happen that Suge Knight will do even more harm with his long tongue, and people are weighing and discussing if there's any truth behind Knight's bold accusations. While Suge Knight doesn't have the power to punish and intimidate anymore, he certainly has the knowledge he may use against his enemies. So what do you think about this? Let us know your thoughts below. That's all for today. We hope you enjoyed that video, and if you did, make sure to hit like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more videos like this.